If there's one politician who never misses a chance to stay relevant, it's Tony Blair. Whether it's pushing a new idea or riding the latest wave, Blair is always at the forefront. This time, the Politico website reports that the former Prime Minister, or at least his team, has released a report suggesting a radical overhaul of the NHS. In a report by the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change, they assess the current state of primary healthcare with some critical observations. Here's how they put it. The traditional model of 10 minutes with a doctor to discuss one problem by the time you're already sick persists in some places, but increasingly practices are adopting a population health management approach. So, what's this population health management they're advocating for? It basically means using artificial intelligence as a solution to improve healthcare. But let's think about that for a second. What does population health management actually entail? Are we talking about one doctor managing healthcare for all 70 million of us through AI? Is this a feasible solution or just another layer of bureaucracy? AI systems are not a magical solution to all our healthcare woes. With politicians like Blair pushing these ideas, it's essential to remember that these so-called silver bullets might not be what they're marketed as. For a more grounded perspective, we recommend checking out an article by James Medway on Novara Media, which critically examines the environmental and societal costs of embracing AI in healthcare. It's an eye-opener, and we will also have a link to that article below in the description. It's ironic, isn't it? Tony Blair, whose government played a role in the gradual decline of the NHS and its shift towards a US-style privatised system, is now advocating for this new AI-driven model. This could pave the way for a two-tier healthcare system in the UK, one where access to doctors depends on your ability to pay. We could see a future where those at the lower end of the income scale are stuck with limited access, similar to Medicare or Medicaid in the US. Meanwhile, those who can afford to pay more would have easier access to GPs and specialists. There are already signs that this shift towards privatisation is underway. A group of campaigners in London called Reclaim the NHS has been actively raising awareness about the current issues facing NHS patients. Their latest leaflet highlights the introduction of medical associate practitioners, or physician associates, otherwise known as PAs, who have significantly less training than fully qualified doctors. It's clear that this isn't just about filling gaps in the NHS, it's about transforming it into something else entirely. Something that increasingly resembles the privatised models seen elsewhere. Tony Blair is also advocating for digitising all our health records, calling it part of the AI revolution. But that digitisation process is already happening. Companies like Palantir, who has close ties to the American CIA, have been awarded contracts worth hundreds of millions of pounds to handle this data. This raises serious questions about privacy and sovereignty. Do we really want our most intimate health details in the hands of foreign entities? Where Streeting, the current health secretary, is also pushing for more private sector involvement in the NHS, framing it as a solution to the system's failures. But let's be clear, the NHS is struggling precisely because of the creeping privatisation. Private companies divide their funding into profits, dividends for shareholders, and actual patient care. Imagine if 100% of what funding went directly into patient care. We could pay our nurses and doctors what they deserve and still maintain the high standard of care that the NHS was once known for. Will AI bring about the improvements these politicians promise? We're not convinced. In the US, companies have been cutting back on AI investment because the promised benefits haven't materialized. When AI investments continue, it's often at the cost of jobs sold to us as cost efficiencies. As AI becomes more embedded in our healthcare system, we'll hear plenty about its benefits. The push for AI could turn into yet another financial windfall for private companies eyeing the NHS's $200 billion annual budget. That's all for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. You can also subscribe to our newsletter on our website at www.lefthorizons.com. Thanks for watching and we will see you next time.